All right, everybody, it's Golficity live for November 9th. Mike, we got a lot to talk about. First things first, want to welcome everybody to our first live broadcast. If you tune into the podcast each week, you hear us talking, but we're going to bring it to you live tonight. We're going to take some of your questions. We're going to do some polls. But I want to talk about, speaking of the podcast, Mike, this week's episode live on iTunes right now, we're talking how to clear a tall bunker lip. Mike, have you ever been in one of those really deep bunkers you just can't get out?
Yeah, the ones where you just hack and close your eyes and just swing.
Exactly. Yeah. Just do whatever you can do and just try to get out of there.
Of course.
Man, it's something. But that was a fun episode. I enjoyed talking about that one. And then also the other fun thing we've got going on right now, the vlog episode. There you are, dude.
There it is, man. Couldn't see where my ball was. Actually, my line. I had a huge hill in front of me there, so I had to jump up on the cart. That was a fun day.
Hey, man, adapt, right? Do what you got to do. I mean, I can't stop laughing at that. Every time I bring that one up. Yeah. And by far, I think I say this every time, but by far, like one of my favorite vlog episodes out there at West Point, the A-Team intro. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. If you have seen it, check it out because it is something. But we had to have a little bit of fun with that one, playing West Point. And Mike, that's consistently been one of my favorite tracks. Always has been. I love it. But it was challenging that day.
Yeah, it was challenging. Cold. It was rainy. I mean, this was the huge savior of the day right here. All right. This thing
came in just in time. Those suckers.
They came in the day before the round. Glad we had them. But that's a beautiful track, especially in the fall. A lot of awesome mountain shots there. Just be like the scenery. And you got all that cool, history, on every hole, there's a story. And the course is tough. I mean, you never have an even lie up there. I feel like the ball is always above or below your feet. This time of year is when I always find myself up there playing there, and there's always tons of leaves. So, you're always in for kind of a tough round up there. For sure.
And I wouldn't recommend walking it.
No.
Not only that long drive between the front and back nine, but man, talk about uphill, downhill. It's a hike. It's a hike. And speaking of the uphills, a couple times because we had so much rain, we couldn't get up with the
we couldn't ride the cart.
There's a couple spots that got a little dicey in that vlog episode too, where we got to see the cart spinning.
Mm-hmm. First hole.
But, yeah.
You knew it was going to be a good day after that.
You did, exactly. And that's what was fun. We got to get out there and play with some of the listeners. Speaking of which, if you haven't had a chance to join our Facebook group yet, just on Facebook, just search the Golf Podcast. We've got a great group going. All the listeners, great way we do giveaways from the show, and also things like this where we were able to get together, in person and play with a couple of fans of the show. So that was a really cool thing. Mike, we've got a lot that we want to talk about, like topics going on around Golficity. And I'm sure everyone out there, you've kind of seen these hitting the feed the last couple of days, but I want to break them down and talk about them. We're going to talk about Greg Norman's new technology, Shark Vision, the Shark Experience, I should say. Shark Week, I want to
Shark Week.
We're going to talk about Tiger 2018, mentally preparing for that. I want to talk about Trump 68. And I want to talk about this high school girl who got denied that trophy. So I got to get your opinion on all this. But before we do, I know a lot of stuff came into the office this week. So give us a quick rundown of some of the fun stuff we got.
All right, let me show you. So I love coming back to the office, I should say, and just having these boxes of goodies. So first and foremost, I got some new wedges. Okay, new wedges.
Are we allowed to see these yet?
You know what? Let's just play it safe. I'm just going to tease everybody with these things. These will not hit the shelves until January, and more to come on this. We'll just leave it there. Everyone's favorite, Frank, came into the office. Hissalot's here.
There it is.
We're going to have a lot of fun with this at our upcoming party that we're throwing, the Golficity party, this Saturday. So we're going to scare a lot of people with this.
Who's the first person we're going to get with that? That's the question. Out on the course, we got to get somebody good.
Yeah, we will. That's for sure. I think we should start with your father with that. I think your head covers came in as well as mine. Look at these things. Craftsman Golf. Killer. We got you all set up here with, what are you playing these days, Frank? 3-wood, 5-wood. One of the very few people that I play with who has a 5-wood in the bag. And
I'm not a hybrid guy. I just can't get there yet.
You're not. We'll get you there. So that means that these are obsolete, right?
Gone.
Those are done. We don't need those anymore. Our friends at Atlas, Frank, this was the old line of hats. Have a whole bunch of these. Really like them. Wear them to the gym. Wear them on the course. Atlas just rolled out their new line. Check these out. They've gone two-tone with new designs and things like that. So these are pretty cool. These are our giveaways for the party coming up. Everyone who comes in is going to get hats and shirts, all sorts of great gear. Frank, look what I found here. You're gonna like this. Media Day at the Barclays a couple years ago when they played Plainfield.
Yes.
They gave all the media a case of Barclays Provies. And let me tell you something. I will never, ever play with these. These are going on the shelf.
Some people just keep one. You keep the entire dozen.
I keep I'm not going to touch these. Here's something interesting. The poker chip game. You ever play this one?
No.
It's one of these fun games you play with your buddies on the course. As things happen, you collect chips.
Oh, I remember we talked about that on
at the end of
like a year or two ago. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Right. So that landed. That's pretty cool. And then what do I have last? Oh, here's a little bit of interesting information. Remember this club?
Yep.
It's gone. I'm no longer playing.
No, come on.
No.
I'm gonna miss the rattle. There's been something. There's been something rattling around in the shaft of that thing.
Can I get it on the mic? Can you hear it? No. There's something in there. But let me tell you something. I need to retool this off season. I need to put a 4 hybrid away. I have to hit 4 iron. I have a 4 iron. I need to use it. I need to put that back in the bag. I need to just go and get fitted first and foremost. Yeah. You're coming with me. We're going to do this together. We're going to get fitted for exactly what clubs we need, because next season is my season to play the right way. I want to play within my game. And let me tell you something. When we show up to this Pro-Am at Bay Hill in March, my game better be in shape.
It better. Your equipment and your game.
Exactly.
It all has to be in shape, especially if you got me carrying the bag that day. I want everything looking good, man.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we've got a rundown to do. I want to talk about some of these different topics, and I also want to get everybody out there's opinion. So we're going to throw some polls up there. But the very first thing that I want to talk about, and this has kind of been teased. We've been hearing about this kind of going back and forth a little bit. What's coming? We knew a big announcement was coming from Greg Norman. He teamed up with Verizon, so you've got 2 big powerhouses there. We have been talking about it on Golficity, wondering what it's going to be, and now we just found out this week. The Shark experience, there's a little bit of a screenshot of what you're going to see in the cart. So for anybody who didn't get a chance to hear about this or see what this is, when you're in the golf carts, they're going to be equipped with a screen, probably about the size of an iPad. A lot of people may have seen these with their GPS or whatever it may be, but this is going to be like that on steroids. So this is kind of interesting, Mike. You're going to be able to watch live TV. You're going to be able to stream music. You're going to be able to pretty much anything with an internet connection. There's going to have on there a Bluetooth connection, so you can stream from your phone, or like I said, it's going to have its own connection. So it's been a mixed, interesting bag of reviews that we've seen as far as the comments go on the Golficity Facebook page. A lot of people have been saying, I don't know if I can do this because it just seems like it's going to slow down pace of play. I'm out there to get away from it all. So first things first, I want to just, as me and you, we're going to talk about this. We're going to kind of go back and forth and discuss what we think this is going to be. But I want to also get the opinion. We'll leave a poll up there while you guys are watching along. So you tell us, all right? So the little heart emoji, whatever it is, if you think you would use the Shark experience, or the angry if you'd end up just making you mad. So I want to go over as that starts to come in. I want to get your take on it, Mike. So out there, this thing's in the cart. The next time you're out there, what you're thinking? Is this something you'd use?
All right, here's the thing. If it's Sunday during football season, I may want to dabble in this. I may want to watch my team. But here's the thing. See this right here, Frank? There's no Sunday golf for me. There's no Sunday golf. So I don't think this is for me. I go to the golf course to escape. I mean, at the most media that I will, listen to or watch or whatever at the golf course is either a podcast on the range or some music from my iTunes. I mean, that's pretty much it. I can't see myself watching anything on the course because it's all laser focus out there, at least for me. Unless if my round blows up by like the 14th or 15th hole, I don't know, maybe I'll put on something good to watch, to coast into the clubhouse watching something good. But other than that, I don't think it's for me.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot. And also, like I said, anybody who's just tuning in, make sure you let us know. If you use the Shark experience, give us that heart. If not, do the little mad guy there. But I'll give you my quick rundown. I'm in a very similar boat. I've been kind of getting into the idea of listening to some music when you're out there. But again, as long as it's not intrusive on people you're playing with, whatever it may be. There's that other side of me, though, that says like anything that brings people into the game more, I'm all for. But if it does slow down pace of play, there's another whole thing. Like if people are kind of wrapped up watching, waiting to take a shot because you want to see what happens on, 4th and 3, that's the type of thing that we could see people getting a little bit of frustrated. But I don't know. I'd say if there's one instance that I can definitely see myself being very happy that it's there and it's in the cart would be Masters Week. Or really during pretty much any of the majors. If I'm out there and I'm able to like kind of have that on going in the background in my cart while at the same time I'm able to play there, I see it. But who knows? I mean, one big thing and one takeaway that I think is important out of this, Greg Norman, what he had said when he first launched this and rolled this out is he said, this is a starting point. He's like, where we're at is a starting point. He said to make sure we understand the important aspect of it being it's a more of a platform than anything else. And I like that idea. Like he's like, things will roll out, new things will come about on it. When you and I played TPC River Highlands just earlier this year, I liked they had the screens. They didn't have live TV, but they had those quick flyovers and it would tell you about each.
Those are great.
Yeah. So I think that there's potential there. I think it's going to take some learning and some getting used to. Thank you, everybody who let us know what your thinking is. It's a mixed bag, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what comes out. We're going to start seeing these things roll out in golf carts, I think, as early as next season.
Wow. We'll see what happens. I'm curious myself.
Hey, again, like I'm always into a little something new. We love the golf boards. That was a little fun little thing. I think that sped up the pace of play, if anything. But that was a great vlog episode that we did. All right, let's just jump right into our next topic here. We're going to talk about Tiger. I mean, that's the big news. Who's not talking about Tiger right now? Little different process here, Mike. We saw him not quite jumping back into it because those couple of times when we saw him, have to end up withdrawing again. Slowly rolling out the good news and his swings and just showing us, moving from chipping practice to taking full swings. We're seeing Tiger on social media, letting us know that a little bit more. So that, I'd say is great stuff. I like seeing that. I like that he's not rushing into anything. But I really want to get your take on this because we had discussed it on Golficity a little bit that it could really go one of three ways. The first way is we could just see unfortunate disaster. The
Right.
Hero World Challenge, he goes out there, tanks, and he's gone right off the bat, right? The other thing that could happen, we could see where, he has just kind of a mediocre season, hangs around, doesn't have any injuries, just kind of as he goes, and but doesn't do anything spectacular. Or we could see, a decent season out of him. He makes it the whole time. We see basically maybe he's in the top 10 in a couple of weeks. We see that Sunday red. That would be great, wearing the Sunday red, making a few cuts, and who knows, maybe being in contention somewhere in there. So the question is, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, there's so many different possibilities here. I mean, that's basically it. I want to give your quick rundown.
Well, I guess the question is, what do you think will happen versus what do you want to happen, right? Because I want him to play well. I mean, you and I, we grew up, Tiger was the man. He was always winning. He was the guy that, got us excited to play this game, and to get really excited about the state of the game and things like that. So, yeah, we want him to win. But if I had to pick one of your scenarios, I'm going right in the middle. I don't think he does anything really too drastic as far as, climbing up leaderboards. There's a ton of talent on the PGA Tour right now, and it's hard to make it to the weekend, with this caliber of players. And Tiger's not going to come back for like a Safeway Open. I think he's playing in the Hero, which is his event. But if he's going to come and play in an event, it's going to be a big event with all the best players in the world. So,
right.
I think that we're going to see him in those big stages, and I think he's going to play well sometimes. I think he can miss a cut here and there. I think we're going to see that, but I don't see anything too crazy. Maybe a top 25, might be the best.
Yeah,
that's my take.
And yeah, I think just him hanging around for the year is going to be good. I mean, that's going to be good for the sport. We know that. We had some articles on Golficity about different, just breaking down the ratings. It's unbelievable the difference when he's playing versus when he's not. You know, just to give you my 2 cents, in a lot of ways echo yours. I mean, I think that as far as health wise, I think there's a strong percentage chance that we're going to see Tiger hang in for a good portion of the season. Obviously, his season is going to be more abbreviated than some of these other guys that are out there every single event, playing towards that FedEx Cup. I think what you'll see is him mixing it in there with a couple different tournaments, definitely trying to make it through the majors. The big telling point is going to be the Masters. I mean, you know that if Tiger goes out there and he humiliates himself being hurt, that might just kind of take the wind out of this whole thing, and I think that's where it might see it go downhill. But who knows? If he's there, if he makes the cut, it's going to be great for television. It's going to be great for the sport. I really hope to see him hang around and be able to do that. But I do like seeing that he's kind of taking it his time, taking it slow. You see him slowly working up to it rather than rushing back into it. But you're right. When it comes straight up to the competition, I mean, I know I'm going over my time here, but when it comes to the competition, I can't echo your sentiment more. You know, it's just so strong right now.
Yeah.
It would take even him playing at his top caliber. I think he would still be working. It wouldn't be a walk away. You know what I mean? He'd still be working to compete and get in there. So yeah, interesting stuff. It really is.
I'd love to see the Tiger of old versus some of the guys on tour now at their peak, you know, like just with coming down on a Sunday, like next week with Justin Thomas, you know, in the final group, or with someone who's just as hot. So, you know, we may see that, you know, if he just dials it up and goes back to the Tiger of old, we may see that. And if we do, then we are in for some awesome golf. Yeah. I'm telling you. You know,
I know. And it, like I said, all around great for the game. So if it happens, we'll be covering it. We'll be checking it out. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. Moving on real quick to our next topic. Okay. So this one, we're going to try not to get political because I don't really care. I don't want to get into politics, but it's golf. So we got to talk golf. So this is what we see this week. Let's see if we can pull this up. This is Trump. You know, we see his you know,
Donnie fires a 68.
his handicap is a 2.5. We had some people talking a little bit about that, of the feasibility. Is that a reality? Could he really be a 2.5 handicap? And now we see him go out and shoot a 68. I don't know, Mike. I'm going to put you in the hot seat and let you go first on this. What do you think? Is he? You think he's capable of this or what?
Yeah, do me a favor. Put that back up on the screen if you can. I want to look at the slope rating on that. The course rating 66. All right, I'm not downplaying the 68. It seems like a really easy track. But again, I mean, you know, not 68 material. But I don't know You know, I saw a swing recently on Instagram. I think it was a fresh video of him taking a cut in the fairway. And if that's anything like his overall game, then I don't think there's any possible way. Right. I mean,
he moves the ball, but
he moves. Don't get me wrong. He would beat me in a round. I'm going to say that right now. He's probably better than I am. You know, there are a lot of those guys out there who play a lot, who played their whole life, who are those, I'm not going to call them, you know, those old guy golf that just put it right down the fairway. They beat me every time. So there's a lot of people in their late 60s and 70s that absolutely. But, you know, I don't think 68 is possible. I'm going to call, I don't know about that. I think there was mulligans involved, maybe multiple breakfast balls, maybe some like 6-foot gimmies. But other than that, I don't think so. That's
just it. Yeah, I'm gonna run with it myself too and just say, similar type of sentiment here. Okay, let's just look at the numbers. I mean, the man, I don't care what you think of him politically. The man is 71 years old. We've seen him play, and 68 seems like a little bit of a stretch. Plus, we've had a lot of reports recently coming out, celebrities and people who have played with him, and they're saying, look, he just doesn't count his stroke. I mean, who was it? Oscar De La Hoya or somebody like that played with him. He said he hit 3 off the first tee, like one in the water, one in the woods, and then he just said he found the first one.
Oh, nice.
So, all right. So here's my take on it. Taking out, like, first of all, people may say, why do you care? Who cares? Well, honestly, this is an honor system. You know, golf is a game of honor. I'm big on that. I like to say, listen, let's all kind of play by the same rules, so to speak. So I don't like to see when somebody kind of supplements that. But if you're in a foursome right? And you're playing with a group of buddies and it's a friendly round and you just want to keep the pace moving and you want to play pickups, gimmies, whatever.
Sure.
By all means, have a couple beers, have a good time out there. But don't walk in the clubhouse and post that towards your handicap. That's where I draw the line.
Yes.
Or don't go around, saying to people, I shot this today, because you didn't. You played golf that day, but you didn't shoot that. So that's my little 2 cents on it. But I don't know. I guess there's only one way to find out. I think we've just got to call them out and tell them, you got to, invite us to any one of your tracks. We'll play. Me and you, verse him. Whatever. Absolutely. We'll play breakfast balls or we'll count every stroke. Let's see if we can beat him.
We've got 5 of his courses, I think, in our backyard. So
yeah, let's go, Donnie. Where's the invite? I'll check my email later and see if we get that invite.
Yeah, watch him fire a 67, just pure and clean.
Hey, if he beats us, then he beats us, man. That's it. But nothing else. Let's bait him for that. I want that invite. Let's fly us in on Air Force One. We'll get that helicopter to land us there, and we'll go out there and we'll play around.
Wouldn't that be something? I
wouldn't mind that. That'll make for a great vlog episode.
Absolutely, sure. If we were allowed to do that.
All right, this is another one I want to talk to you about. This one's kind of been
this one's chat. Interesting. Yeah,
because everyone's been talking about this. Emily Nash, high school golfer. So I'll give you the quick overview here. There's no female golf team at her school, so she was allowed to compete on the boys' team. She's allowed to play on the boys' team. Anyway. Emily's an excellent golfer. She goes out and most recent tournament beats the entire field by a clear 4 strokes. So dominance, right? Now I got to stress this. She's playing the same tees as the boys, everything, right? Okay. She goes out there, beats everybody. So she wins, but she doesn't walk home with the trophy because there's a little caveat there where the opposite gender can play, but they can't win. So now let's compound this issue a little bit further. The winner was able to go to states. Since she's technically not the winner, she has no clear path to go to states. So she doesn't. Not only does she go home no trophy, she also doesn't get to go to states. So this one I find really kind of interesting. And I think if anything, I'll kind of go first on this, Mike, and then I want to get your take. I think if anything, it's just something that just wasn't well thought out. Right. It just wasn't well thought out, because I get the idea of creating a space for somebody to play. I also, and a lot of people were quickly jumping down their throat and saying, how could it be that she can't win? Well, there's other sides of that. I had heard a story not too long ago that there was a similar situation where there was no men's volleyball for a different high school, right? So since similar situation, there's no men's team, the men were allowed to compete in the girls' teams. Well, the men's volleyball team playing against the girls' volleyball team, they go on, they win everything, and they kind of dominated it. And it was kind of egg on the faces of everybody who let them in, and now they're walking home with the trophy in the girls' division. It's a whole thing. Right. So now they kind of backpedal and they let them play, but then you can't win. I think what happened was nobody saw this coming. Exactly. I think my kind of take on this is go one way or the other. Either let them in and compete and play, or don't. To have, it's kind of humiliating to have her beat the field by as much as she did, and then not, and on top of that, the trophy doesn't mean much. But these are people who are trying to play for exposure. They're trying to play to get into college and things like that. To not let her go to states, that's the tough part. They've got to come up with some sort of exemption, some sort of other thing. I don't care if you don't win that tournament, but give them a path to states. Because especially, it's with a public high school, it might be the school you're zoned for. You can't go somewhere else. So now you just have no way of getting there. And when you're that good, I hope good things for her. But you tell me, Mike, what's your thinking?
You nailed it. Exactly. I was going to pretty much say the same thing about, the trophy's a trophy, but the fact that she can't go to states, that stinks. And you know what? You're right. They didn't see it coming. No one said, well, what if she wins? That was probably something you should have thought about before this. But the fact that nobody thought about that's a whole nother topic. As you have 2 daughters, I have 2 daughters, and I'm training my 4-year-old pretty consistently with golf. And I want her to be competitive, and I want her to play this game, and I want her to win, and I want her to enjoy the game. Yeah, the whole states thing is tough, because even if they let her go to states, I'm assuming it would be an all male states, championship as well. So they would have to be able to take this all the way through.
Well, I don't know.
Unless there was
I think it was that there's states in the male and female divisions in states, but she just didn't have a path to get there.
Okay, because she didn't technically win.
Right, because there was no female team, and she didn't have a way to get there. So interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious.
But I think that's what it comes down to. And we saw on Twitter too. We saw a lot of professional golfers coming out and talking about, like, this is just kind of embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the sport. Let's get this together. But I think that's what it is. There's a bigger picture to it. I mean, the headline is very attention grabbing. I'll give you that, but there is a bigger story to it. So they've got to find a way to do it. I know some of these schools work on limited budgets. If they don't have enough participation, they can't get both, gender things in there. But look, it's golf. I'm sure there's a way you can find to do this. So whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, Mike, anything else before we wrap this, our first live session here up?
Listen, I promised you on the podcast that I was done for the season. First of all, it's going to be about 30 degrees tomorrow.
And did I believe you?
No, you didn't believe me.
That's right.
I haven't played yet. I'm just letting you know. I think I've hung it up. I'm telling you right now, if we get a 75-degree day on a Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving, I'm still not playing. I'm done. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to get.
You're going to eat those words.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to see you on the Golficity Snapchat channel out there, and I'm going to be like, dude, I know exactly what you're doing. You couldn't resist. Yeah. Tell me, you get every golfer in the world gets that itch. The second you get that, like, a little bit of a warm day in November, you grab the clubs and you go out there.
That's true. Maybe I'll do a solid range session or so. But, you're going to have to start training me, by the way, just to let you know.
Right.
I mean,
Bay Hill, man.
Bay Hill, I need you to know all my distances of all my clubs. You're going to come with me to get fitted. And I need you to re-sole my golf shoes, put these if you could take care of that for me, I'd appreciate it. You're squarely pushing it now.
Yeah. Now you're pushing it, dude. I don't mind carrying the bag for that free trip to Orlando. But
yeah.
I don't know about the other stuff. But all right. So anyway, like I said earlier, make sure you tune in each week. Check out golficity.com for the latest golf news, trending, opinions, things like that. On top of that, check out the podcast. Mike and I every week. The Golf Podcast on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find it. We've got a good one coming out. The new episodes drop every Sunday. We've got a great interview dropping this Sunday talking about high vibrational thinking and how to get in the zone. Everybody wants to be in the zone, so that's great. And there's a great episode out right now, like I said, talking about clearing a tall bunker lip, how to get out of those deep bunkers. So make sure you do that. Subscribe to the Golf Podcast on iTunes. There goes the Snapchat. There he is.
I want to get you talking on the snap here.
So anyway, make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel too. Just search Golficity on YouTube and you'll be able to check out all of our latest vlog episodes. Like I said, the last one was fun. 39 degrees, raining, freezing cold.
But a lot of fun.
Still, hey, it's golf. We're out there. All right, everybody. We'll check in with you again soon.